welcome to Flash. Aha! Joining me as always is Noel Sutton's premier private investigator, a man who has not been this excited for a live stream since PM Jews. It's Dickie Holliday.
Hello, I'm here. Thanks for that wonderful intro as ever, Martin. It's a pleasure to be here.
And joining us, a man with a beard that men want and women want to be with, it's Colin Clark.
Oh, thank you so much. And good evening all.
And high fantasy author and part-time unicorn, we have NATASSHA Woodley.
Hello, good to meet you all. This is my first time doing this, so it's going to be a good lot of fun, I think.
Now, what's going to happen is we're going to throw out some writing prompts. We're going to write some Flash. We're going to read some Flash, and then we're all going to go away, leaving you to question if we're ever really here at all. So, how's everyone doing?
I'm very good. I'm just pleased to be here, as usual, for more of these Flash writing hijinks. I'm scared.
Yeah, no, I'm good. It's going to be good fun because I don't normally write short fiction. I normally do long, sprawling stories like Lord of the Rings. So this is going to be a challenge.
We will come round and stop you if you exceed the time limit and then disqualify you, which is within our power.
No.
You have the power, yes. Yep, and I'm very well. Looking forward to it, as always. Haven't got a clue what we're going to do, but have fun.
That's the best thing, isn't it? We just make it up as we go along.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed your conversation with Barrett recently, Colin.
Oh, thank you.
He is.
I did too. He's just a superb chap. He really is.
I have to say, 2 hours just isn't enough, is it?
Mm-mm. Not when you're actually there. It goes so fast.
So, no, I think we've all had a good old. Actually, no, it's just me and you that have chatted to him so far. I think, Martin, you might be booked in.
Conversations are happening.
Ooh, juicy. As he slid into your DMs, I believe the kids say.
Well, the less said about Barrett slipping into his DMs, the better.
Well, well, I think the only slipping I've been doing is on the floor.
And is that because of your drinking, or
because of my drinking? Yeah, my rampant alcoholism, which I've managed to keep a wrap on until now.
Yeah, I kept a wrap on it until that one live stream. Yeah.
Oh, Colin, that live stream you did when you had about 2 bottles of wine, that was classic.
Absolutely, that was so disrespectful to those poor writers. I really. Yeah.
I have to. No, I thought it was wonderful how smashed you were. It was just highly entertaining.
Yeah, that's when my eldest son and granddaughter were up, so we started drinking in the afternoon. So it was probably 2.5 bottles of wine. So.
Well,
what's that really strong stuff? Buckfast.
Buckfizz?
No. I'm sure Martin knows what I'm alluding to. That really strong thing that's brewed in like an abbey somewhere.
Benedictine?
Are you Buckfast Lee?
That's the one. I think that must be
it. Are you talking about mineral water, Richard?
Well, it doesn't take much for this lightweight to, get on the sauce.
Yeah, 1 glass of the mineral water and he's out.
Now, Natasha, didn't we have that lecture at university? Because me and Natasha went to university.
Which lecture? Jeez.
We had that American one who did the journalism lecture. We called her, what was her name, Fucked on Lemsip, because she was totally crackers.
Yeah, she was out there by quite a way.
I mean, it was like 11 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it? And we were like literally scared for our lives.
Yeah, you sort of sat there and was like, "Are we going to make it out of this alive?"
And honestly, she was actually possibly one of the best lecturers there.
Yeah, I mean, it was good fun. It was terrifying, but it was good fun.
I remember for that lecture we had to do that mock journalism exercise, and I just pretended I was a reporter for the Daily Mail. I just made it up.
Yeah.
Basically, as usual, then.
Put it on the sidebar of shame.
I think Justin's with us.
We have a comment. I have no idea what any of that is. Oh, clever. It's not, yeah.
Aha.
Uh-huh. Knowing me, knowing you.
Aha.
Oh dear, it's a good start. We're literally sort of reciting ABBA lyrics. Honestly, you know they released a new album. I had to check the date. It wasn't April the 1st.
Did
They did.
Yeah, they're all ghosts
Oh,
or
God.
something.
Oh, hologram.
All of them
ABBA-
seem to be doing it these days.
Were you serious to say ABBA just released a new album?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes, they have released a new
They
album.
genuinely have. I mean, I'd heard about it, but I didn't know when it had been released. But yeah,
I did
they
think it was a
have.
spoof to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was a spoof.
So,
It's yes, it's
No,
certainly
I-
something. I mean, not being funny, I think the pandemic was better.
well, I thought one of them was a hermit somewhere in the woods, would never sing again.
I think lockdown drove everyone a bit mad, which is why everyone's coming out of the woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've all realised the money's running out, so they've got to do that. It's
It's
very clever. And Martin, have you not been to see the new Bond yet?
No.
Okay. Good chat.
So-
there.
Yeah.
Any ideas
thanks for that.
for prompts?
None yet.
4 new songs. Oh, I couldn't care less. This guy gets it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, good shout.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, can we just stop and admire that the pun is just in case? I do approve of this.
Mm-hmm.
Deary me. Right, prompt. So what have we all been thinking about this week?
Nothing.
Nothing. Nada. A blank page.
Well, actually, I've been thinking.
Thank you
about
for
the
joining us for Flash Aha. We'll be back in another 6 to 8 weeks to do us again.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, don't forget.
Subscribe
Oh,
to
God,
his
here we go.
newsletter. Yes. Or all our newsletters, for that matter.
Welcome. Glad you could make it.
Shannon, how you doing?
I need to have
Right.
a Shannon.
You were asking
binge.
for prompts. I've been thinking of prompts this week, but they're the prompts that are out for the Halloween story for the
Is that
CGL.
for on the Facebook group.
Yeah, well, the critique group live on the
That's the
14th.
one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm not quite sure what genre my story that I wrote would be in, to be honest.
Well, the first one I wrote certainly wasn't fit for kids, so that's not getting
Yeah,
in.
mine was meant to be an erotica, funnily enough. But it didn't
That's
come-
definitely not suitable for kids.
You
Jeez.
do know on the 14th we're doing a child-friendly thing.
Might have to duck out on that one. I'm not very child friendly.
Yeah, we know that.
What a rude thing to say. A rude yet accurate thing to say.
Oh dear. Right.
Come on, throw some prompts. Let's throw some random.
Right.
words.
I'll break the-
ones.
Can we get the
Right.
ones that are out behind the emergency glass?
If in doubt, break glass.
If in doubt, tune into Reddit and see what's on there.
Yeah.
You know, the BBC have an episode of Dad's Army ready to go if anything drops out in the transmissions at any given point as a backup.
Did it?
Do they?
Do you
Yeah,
know which episode it is?
That's great, and I'd
No.
watch it too.
but we should probably do the same.
Have an episode of Dad's Army.
No, just
Yeah.
have an episode of Flash Aha. Just slips in when you can't think of anything with ready written flash fiction.
We were going to put some lightning in the intro, but it didn't kind of work out, did it? For budgetary
Cramp.
reasons.
There you go. There's a prompt. Cramp.
Sorry?
Cramp.
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 Cramped space.
Ooh.
Claustrophobia.
Ooh. I'm writing these down.
Very
I have
good.
a memory like a sieve.
All this time, I keep thinking that there's some like sound effect app on the streaming software, and I've just realised it's Rich's freakish keyboard.
I do have one of these typey keyboards.
Oh no, I like this one because it's got a jelly cover which keeps the dust and everything out from the keys.
Yeah, I mean, I dread to think how many dinners have been eaten over this thing and the
What's your
remnants.
computer called?
You know
What's your
me and
computer
red
called, Richard? Colossus, isn't it?
wine. Colossus.
All right.
Wonders of the world. There's another prompt.
Wonders of
Colossus of Rhodes, wasn't it?
It was also the first computer, which was the joke I was going for.
Yeah, but I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was invented by Benedict Cumberbatch in that film about the Enigma code.
I mean, it would be funny if we didn't know he was an actor. We'd all just assume that was a made-up name, wouldn't we?
I think the thing is, you can basically just smash your face on the keyboard and you'll come up with something like his name every single time.
Wasn't that how he wrote The Nightmare Tenant?
No, I thought we just got some chimps in for the weekend.
How could you say that, Martin, about my wonderful book, which is here, which you can buy on Amazon?
Available at all good Amazons.
Oh, we've got Colossus by D.F. Jones. I don't know who D.F. Jones is. He says, Googling them right now. Ooh, was a British science fiction author. Okay. One you've heard of, Martin?
We'll say yes.
That's a good answer. I'll get you on that. So we've got cramped. I think cramped spaces is quite interesting.
There's a lot you can do with that.
That's Colossus by Alan Turing, to be clear.
And cramped space. I'm trying to think where I'd go with that. I kind of think
somewhere
the obvious
small,
one
no
would be a coffin, I suppose, but you don't want to go for the obvious ones. Let's talk about cramped spaces then.
There was a guy who posted himself from Australia to London in the 60s and got a load of press coverage that someone else thought, my word, what a good idea, only to get redirected via America and left upside down on a runway for 6 hours in great heat.
If you did that these days, you probably die, just waiting in the queue at the post office, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah, geez.
Well, for some
remember
reason, they're very fussy about what they let on planes these days. They scan it with X-rays and all sorts.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Did
I'm
you give him
pretty sure
superpowers?
Somewhere you used to be able to
Alternative.
post children.
Alternative take. If you do it these days, you'd be on EasyJet.
Oh dear. Oh, yes, somewhere they used to post children. And I can't remember where that was.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Mm-hmm. They actually posted the children through the mail.
Mail a baby.
Yeah, I think
You
there
can
was
get a mail order bride.
That got dark quickly.
See, there's another prompt. Mail order bride.
Ooh, that could be saucy.
Right down Richard Street.
Hello, Hannah.
Hannah's here. She recovered from her epic chat with Barrett, which was lovely, by the way, honestly.
It was. But she looked so chilled.
She did. She was very, very, very suave.
Totally
Very
professional.
yeah. Unlike us lot, we just sort of make
I was a blithering idiot, but never mind. Why change for just one day?
Don't change the habits of a lifetime. Don't change who you are. I mean, look at this. What I have to deal with every day. Hannah says thoroughly enjoyed. This is good news. So, she's had a good stream. Now she's got to put up with these, this malarkey. So we've got a couple of good prompts. We've got cramped spaces. We've got the mail order bride. Are we doing that thing where our genres are randomly assigned to us?
No, of course we're not, because it's terrible.
Yeah.
That means we are doing it.
Oh, God.
Martin's terrified he's going to get romance.
Somebody's laughing.
We're doing prompts. Well, you can suggest a prompt, so throw some ideas at us. What's
Yeah, give us some ideas, please.
Yeah,
occurring?
because we're totally useless, Hannah, and we can't think of anything.
No, we've all
cramped
stage
space.
fright. We're just kind of blithering on.
Stage fright.
Oh,
Another good prompt.
Colin, not just a pretty face.
Not even, in fact, but never mind. Stage fright.
That's actually quite an interesting. Filter coffee.
Filter coffee.
I hate coffee.
I like the smell of coffee cake, but I just don't like the taste of it. But stage fright is fun.
I just don't like coffee in general. Like even the smell of it is just ugh.
I only have one coffee a day, but then again, I have about 35 cups of tea. So
Tea is way better than coffee.
always.
I'm indifferent to both. I'm not really a proper Brit. I don't know if I can call myself British.
You can't.
Don't like tea. Do you like rich tea biscuits? They're quite.
Rich tea biscuits are good.
Yeah,
You're just
especially
saying
when
that
you
'cause
get
it's got your
6 of
name
them
on the
together
box.
and dunk them in your tea. That's when they're really good.
No, see, I can't do that with biscuits. I can't dunk them in tea. It just makes them all crumbly and horrible.
Oh no, you got
Don't
that.
them in too long.
No, but don't you even say that, Richard. I know exactly what you're thinking with that.
Do you not think any more of me than to just reduce me to those terrible puns? I'm shocked and appalled. Okay, I'm not sure where we'd go with filter coffee, unless I wrote about this sort of, murdering barista.
I quite like stage fright. I mean, I don't like stage fright.
I
It's really
quite
scary,
like the
but as
idea
a
of
prompt,
stage fright, because there are multiple stages. You could write a creepy, you could write a comedy.
Well, it depends on the category you're going to get given, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah.
I have to say, this is a word for the list of awesome words.
That is a good word, yeah. I think we've already got that one there, haven't we?
I'm to be quite honest, I haven't updated it in a while. We're up to just under 300 words on there. And it's getting a little bit arduous to update now.
Too many
That in
words.
itself is a good word, arduous. Infinitesimal. I don't know. Should we go with stage fright then?
Well,
yes,
why not?
let's.
I hate stage, but on the 9th, I'll have to go on stage to debate politics and sci-fi. I do not envy you.
No.
I thought about that.
Politics in sci-fi, dearie me.
How can you even debate that?
Well, that's actually a good question. I want to know what side of the argument he's taking.
I quite like politics in sci-fi if it's done right. Check out The Expanse for one.
And check out for politics done
Come
wrong.
at me
in
just
sci-fi.
in case.
For politics in sci-fi done wrong, check out Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who.
That's not politics, Richard. That's just casting ladies. That's just equal employment.
Deary me.
Politics.
That does sound like politics, doesn't it? Don't you know everything is politics these days? Everything.
Yeah.
Well, except politics, which is just
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the only thing that isn't politics is
a
politics.
local circus
Politics is
show.
just a bunch of monkeys throwing shit at each other and seeing what sticks.
It's quite an eloquent. No, it's not really eloquent, is it? That's quite.
But we don't
Thanks,
use
Sarah.
politics on these flash thingies, do we?
The only thing I think that should be thrown at politicians is chocolate pudding.
Or a milkshake.
It's an awful waste of a milkshake, though.
Yeah, but if you buy one, get one free, then you might as well throw the free one
Hang
at them.
on, do 5 Guys even do buy one get one free on milkshakes?
Who
Because
knows?
those things are bloody expensive.
It's quite funny if you go back
What
and
a
watch
waste of
Pulp
pudding.
Fiction now when they're whinging about a $5 shake, and I'm there like, oh, that's a reasonable price.
We can always talk about. We've heard that jazz before. We have.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I actually did read.
I mean, I would like to know Justin's thoughts on the taxation of trade routes.
Oh God.
Are we trying to bore the audience to death here, Martin?
Yeah, we're doing quite a good job so far. Right,
We
come
really
on.
are.
Let's get prompting.
Are you going to force genres upon us?
Shall we?
Yes, why not?
Oh, go on, man.
I just got to get the random name generator up. Thanks. Talk amongst yourselves while I sort this out. You know, I can't, you know, produce and, you know, impress the audience.
You should be able to multitask, Richard. Honestly,
a bloke can't multitask.
you should be able to.
If you want something less boring, then feel free to check out Colin Clark's phenomenal series on writing steampunk and how you can just take your normal stories and glue some cogs on it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I did watch your author tribe tag, Colin. That was very good. I was impressed that you said I swear a lot. I thought I'd been quite restrained so
Well,
far.
actually, it was at that point in time filming it. I couldn't remember why it was. I didn't want you on speakerphone, but it's the innuendo and the pun, and so I just said you swear like a trooper, because I do anyway.
Well, there's some chat going on. Oh, it was, wasn't it?
Well, really, they'd have to talk amongst themselves. We're not exactly talking a lot, are we?
Well, I could dance.
Yeah. Please don't do that.
Yeah, please don't.
Maybe more running.
No.
Excuse me.
You know what I said.
Okay, so the 5 things we're doing.
5 commandments of... No.
Now, I do like the old 5 commandments, Colin. You know me.
Yeah.
We have got 5 genres and 4 of us. I've got something in my eye which is really bad. So we are going to pick who is writing what genre. So who wants to go first?
Go on then. I'll go first.
Colin's going to take one for the team. Colin, you're going to be writing thriller.
Oh, okay.
I think Natasha, you should go next.
All right, go on then.
So the choice you've got left is historical, romance, sci-fi, or comedy. What are you getting? Comedy?
Oh, good lord!
Come on, let's do this.
Sorry.
Let's do it.
It's got to be romance for Martin. You know, what did I say?
Martin's writing romance.
Hooray!
I think that's a good thing that he's writing that, because I know exactly what you would have written for that prompt, Richard.
What, stage fright? Oh, it could have gone, you know, in many ways. Let's do another one. And I'm doing historical.
Very good.
So, where do we think we're all going with that?
I have no idea.
I have an idea.
You have always got an idea. It's that kind of idea, isn't it, Martin? So, historical. I'm trying to think what time period I should go for.
A week last Tuesday.
It was the best.
I'm not sure that really counts as history. Who was it that said the 80s counted as historical now? I was very upset about that. I'm sure I heard it somewhere. Someone said the 80s is now historical.
That's ridiculous. I was born in 1958. That means I'm ancient history.
I mean, not being funny, I still think the 90s was 10 years ago. I can't get my head around that.
It was. Don't be daft.
Martin, don't do this to me. I get confused at the best of times.
Right.
So, historical. Stage fright.
There's so many things I could do for comedy, but all of them are way too obvious.
Has everyone at home got some ideas that they can
because
start
you can
flashing?
Flashing. If you're flashing at home, it's probably a good thing. Don't go outside.
Or at least close the blinds.
At least close the blinds. Yes,
or
hide
have
your
the
shoe.
decency to jump on top of the sideboard so that people get a better view. Yeah.
Well, you're on the 14th floor, so unless someone's got like a
No,
telephoto
I'm on the
lens.
third. I'm only on the third floor,
He's not
which is good because any higher and I start getting, scared of heights.
lack of oxygen.
Yeah, it's just a heck of a long way to carry the shopping.
Is there no lift?
There are 2 lifts. One goes to odd floors only, and the other one goes to even floors.
How strange.
Very.
That's useful.
Actually sounds quite inconvenient, to be honest.
Well, it is, because if the odd lift's going up to the 13th floor, you have to wait for it to come down again. So, but luckily, I'm on the 3rd floor, so I can walk up.
That's not too bad, is it?
What happens when I get my Zimmer frame? I don't know.
Zimmer frame.
Is that on the cards?
I sincerely hope not. At least for another 25 years.
They'll move you to a ground floor flat, like one of those little granny annexes.
I doubt it. I mean, during lockdown, there were people on the 14th floor when the lift was broken who are in wheelchairs. They couldn't get down.
Oh, God.
They were stuck up there for months. It's okay, though. A couple of them came out in boxes, so it was all right.
I don't quite know what to say to that.
What, oops. But never mind.
It's the way this song came out. I was like, what? It's so matter of fact, like, the counting boxes.
Yeah, just an everyday occurrence. Nothing to see here.
They get shoved down the rubbish chute or something.
Actually, we do have a rubbish chute as well. You can barely fit a bin bag in it, so body, no chance.
Unless you chop it up first, I suppose.
Oh, we're back on to my favourite subject: serial killers and murder.
And how to dispose of bodies.
Shall we write
Shall we
some
do
words?
a bit of writing? That'd be a good idea, Martin, wouldn't it?
That's a very good idea, because we're going down a very dark path.
So
Okay,
how long are we going for?
We're going for 10 minutes, Colin.
Just the usual 10 minutes.
And then we're going to have a bit of a chat about whether we're feeling confident or made terrible mistakes. Then we're going to do another 10 minutes, and then we're going to read them out.
I'm terrified. I think I've decided on a time period. It's a good start.
Good.
I have a vague idea.
I have no
Okay,
idea
so
whatsoever
we're
at the
gonna go-
moment. It's a thriller. I don't write thrillers.
Thriller.
I don't write any other genre apart from fantasy. So,
Oh, yeah, but that's got so many
entertaining.
genres in it.
And not being funny, Natasha, but fantasy isn't a proper genre, so that's why we didn't include it.
yeah, I know. God.
Okay, let us go for a sprinter-rooney. We do like a good old sprint, don't we?
Yep.
I need to find the video clip now, so sorry about that.
Oh, I would have if I had a document up to write on, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I already set that up straight away.
I am just filling time because I have not planned this in head. Hold on. Oh, there's the countdown clock. We do like a good old clock, don't we? So, on your marks, get set, sprint.
Flash!
Oh, good Lord.
Don't forget to mute the mics, Richard.
believe that's time. How do we all get on?
Oh dear.
Natasha, you're talking to no one. You're mute.
I'm back. Yeah, no, it was better than I expected.
That's always good.
It was far, far worse than I expected.
So I think that's the petrol queuers beeping outside. You bastards.
There's another prompt for you. Write something about the bloody petrol crisis.
See, now I preferred that one. How's yours going, Martin? How's yours going?
Yeah, good. Better than last time.
That's what she said.
There we go. Always have to lower the phone, don't you, Richard?
Well, you know.
Bringing us all down to his level. I don't know.
Well, you know, I don't think I did too bad. I think I've got a bit of an interesting little tale, little characterful moment going on here. In answer to your question, Justin, yes. At the end of the second stream, you'll be invited to email yourself for one of these wonderful readers and me to read out for you. Isn't it terrifying? Reading. Yeah, no, I think I've got it took me a few minutes to decide on the historical moment. And I was like, well, what could I actually take? So I've kind of gone for a bit of a literal thing and stage fright, but taking it back to some sort of time period. So we shall see.
Colin, do you have a preferred font?
A preferred font? I usually use Arial.
What about you, Natasha?
I usually do Times New Roman. Got to go with the classic standard.
Richard has many thoughts on Times New Roman.
Yeah, I have actually used Comic Sans before now. Just because it really does free you up when you use that.
I have to say,
you can't take your writing seriously when you're using Comic Sans font.
I think Comic Sans can make anything a bit more cheerful, whether you're writing a resume or a CV or a eulogy. It's made better in Comic Sans.
Yeah, I just find it helps me unblock if I'm not writing.
I think there's actually been some research on that. It does help.
Have you tried prune juice? Similar results.
Sorry?
Juice.
Have you tried prune juice? Similar results.
Prune juice.
Prune juice.
I'm writing this particular story in Calibri, which is so anonymous. It kind of just exists as text.
Yeah, but it's okay. What I've written is so anonymous.
It starts out like that. It starts out in Calibri, and it's like, no, I'm changing you straight away to Times New Roman. Go away.
You show who's boss, don't you, Natasha? You write in Times New Roman.
I do what I want.
You've made the rules, you've broken. I think it just took me a few minutes to kind of get going on this one, but we'll have to wait and see. It's not going to be, I think it's going to be funny. That's Natasha's job to be funny, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
God. Well, Justin has been posting his. Okay. Ooh, I wish I could write this kind of eloquently off the top of my head. The lake.
You've just got to be a good writer.
Okay. Yeah. Well, sorry to disappoint you all.
Hey, you're the writer with the book out, so fair play. Just so you could bring it up again.
Martin does have a book out, but it's an e-book, so it's not a proper book.
Yeah, it is. You just didn't buy a copy, unlike all your other friends.
I did buy a copy, I think.
You think?
Well, I order so much stuff on Amazon, it's hard to keep track of it these days.
Yeah, I've got an ebook out. But that's, as I said, it's a non-fiction one on making creepy dolls. So,
ooh,
I wrote a series of short stories about a postmodern noir detective called Basil Mash.
That is a name.
And is that available on Amazon?
Oh, yes.
What's the title?
Basil Mash.
Basil Mash.
Does it not Get Smash? Get
Sounds like the
Mash?
title of a cookbook.
Basil Mash.
Now, Martin, isn't there an interesting story about the name of the character?
I was eating with my wife in a popular chain restaurant and noticed that a side dish on the menu was simply Basil Mash and thought, that sounds like a postmodern noir detective. I best write a series of short stories about him. And
As you do.
And we laughed for a bit, and then I handed it over to my wife at Christmas, and she had forgotten all about it.
Now we've got to guess what chain restaurant you went to.
Well, no, they'd have to pay for paid promotion to be mentioned, otherwise our hands are tied.
Justin says he's not a native English person, so apologies if I misspell. Well, not being funny, these little passages are really good.
Beautifully descriptive.
Jenna, hi, she loves the banter. Well, we're trying our best, but it's a Friday night. We're a little bit on the tail end of the week. We've all had a tough one, I think.
Yes. Obviously, Colin's not had his drink of wine yet, so.
Well, the night is still young to.
Yeah, we can crack
Oh, it is.
out.
The wine's just outside. Don't worry, it's here.
Richard, I challenge you to come up with a pun half as good as just in case in Swedish.
I don't know any Swedish.
Yeah, that's right. Jag förstår lite svenska. Jag förstår engelska.
I'm so confused right now.
I've actually been to Sweden. Yes, that's
Oh, whereabouts?
I have been. Malmo.
I had a very interesting weekend in Uppsala.
I've been to IKEA.
I went to Malmo. My ex-wife's brother lives out in Sweden.
That counts, doesn't it?
I mean, did you have the meatballs? If you have the meatballs, then yeah. If not, then.
Oh, I mean,
when I was in Sweden, I did actually at IKEA, and I also loved the hot, because we went over to Denmark, Copenhagen for a day. I love the hot chocolate in Copenhagen. Superb.
Do like a good hot chocolate. I'm not a hot drink person, but I'm partial to hot chocolate. But yeah. Well, surely if you go to IKEA in Sweden, it's a bit too meta, isn't it? And I want to know whether in Sweden, do they call Swedish meatballs, or they're just meatballs? It's like Brazil nuts. Do they call Brazil nuts in Brazil, or they're just nuts in Brazil?
See, now this is why you're the one with the book out, Richard.
This sounds like the sort of conversation that Cold War spies would have to initiate contact.
Yeah. Yes, do you have your Brazil nuts with you?
We don't call them Brazil nuts here. We're from Brazil, so they're nuts.
This is a bit like a Carry On film now. Was it Carry On Spy?
Dennis says, good point. Is it a Brazil nut in Brazil?
I don't know if Justin actually is Swedish, otherwise I'm probably wildly off the mark. He's probably a very frustrated Finn or Dane.
or Norwegian.
Norwegian.
Oh no, the Norwegians, they let you know they're Norwegian. They're like vegans in that regard.
So really the worst thing you can
ever
do in life is a Norwegian vegan.
Oh God.
A Norwegian vegan?
Denmark. Yes, I've been across that bridge. It's terrifying. But we actually got the hover boat when we went over to visit Copenhagen.
Ooh, I'm Justin. My keyboard has omlots.
What's an omelette? What is what you make with eggs?
It's those dots above the O.
The dots.
I have to use a separate function in Word to get those.
It's like
Yeah, I tend never to use them. It's not there on my keyboard.
For some of the stuff I write, I have to use them, and it's a pain in the ass to dig them out from it.
Oh, what, names and languages and things? Yeah.
I did have a job where I had to use a ZERTY keyboard, and I never want omlots again.
And a ZERTY keyboard?
Yes.
Is that what you have after dinner?
No, they're usually after 8. Or back in the day, it used to be Arctic Roll.
Oh,
What about Viennetta?
I had a Viennetta.
I remember the first time I ever saw a Viennetta, and I thought that was so luxurious.
Yeah. Viennetta is the best ice cream out there.
On Viennetta, it's just like a continual stream of ice cream. Just put me in front of that machine, please.
When I was a kid, I thought Viennetta was the capital of Austria. I was a remarkably stupid child.
That's okay. My youngest daughter, who's now 25, when asked who Muhammad Ali was, said he was a terrorist. Very much. She was over 18.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Oh, there was a news story where someone from the Midlands kept calling it the Middle East for about 18 months. Was wondering why they kept getting funny looks from people who come from the Middle East. And they actually came from Derby.
Derby.
Oh, here we go. I'm Danish born, but I am a quarter Hungarian German gypsy. Wow.
Half Viking. Middle East, North
Now
Africa.
that is a life story.
You're telling me.
I've lived my life in the Middle East, North Africa, and the Balkans.
I'm beginning to wonder if perhaps Justin isn't his real name.
What would make you think that, Martin?
It probably has. It just has lots more dots above some of the letters.
He just seems like the sort of person that sits on park benches using some of Richard's phrases to start conversations with Cold War spies.
True.
I thought Jenna was just naming first names of forgotten presidents.
Theodore.
Woodrow. Herbert.
Herbert. No. Herbert Hoover. I heard he really sapped.
Yes, actually, that was one of his. I can't even say the word. Never mind.
Right, shall we write more words?
Real name is Hans Henrik.
There you go.
Leif.
Leaf.
That. Oh, I sound like I'm from the West Country now.
Yeah, it's okay. I sort of sound like I'm in the cast of Hello Hello. So.
That name has made me very happy.
I'm not even going to try and butcher.
That's an even better name than Just In Case.
What is the name for that O with the line through it?
Isn't that like the symbol for the speed limit?
I was just thinking it was the London Underground sign turned slightly.
Yeah.
At 45
I thought it was the speed limit sign that you see when you're going from like 30 to 60.
I think we should just point we're saying this all in jest. We don't mean any in any sort of serious manner.
Oh no, we're not. I hope we're not being offensive. We're just playing.
Just In Case was a pseudonym for the American horror, weird and sci-fi.
Wow.
This guy knows his stuff. We should get him on the stream. Instead of me, I don't know anything.
Definitely should.
No, I think he'll make us look bad.
That's okay. He's managing to do that from the chat.
Yeah, he'll be sending in yet.
He'll also click that I've used up my entire knowledge of Swedish at this point.
I did see that video where someone went to IKEA with his girlfriend and just made puns all the way around, and she got more and more unimpressed as the day wore on.
That was just you, Richard.
Yeah, but I don't have a girlfriend, so it couldn't have been me.
Well, not now.
We know why.
That day walking around IKEA.
Well, yeah.
Are we going to do the next session at any time?
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Are we going for another sesh of the old
Yeah, let's do this shit.
You better believe it.
Right, I just need to do the thing. Hold on.
I've got to salvage whatever the heck it is I'm writing here.
You can do it, Colin. It's going to be great. Just glue some cogs on it.
Thank you with the glued cogs again.
Okay. On your marks, get set, flash. We all done?
Yep.
I am about 90% finished. I just finally had the sort of click of the idea about 8 minutes into that session.
Well, I'm not done per se with the writing, but I know what the idea would be fully fleshed out.
I've actually now got a full story. It's not in what I've written, but if I spend some time on it. This is what I love about these flash streams, they're like incubators for ideas that you never thought you'd have. So just kind of like slap something down and work on it later. Colin's shaking his head.
That's not flash at all. You're doing it wrong.
Shush.
Yes, no, this is absolutely the worst piece of flash fiction I've ever written.
So far.
338 words of tripe.
138 words.
How did you do, Natasha? How many words did you get?
Oh, let me look. I got 441. So it's not too bad.
Oh, Martin has already emailed his, so if you want to email your ones, I'm going to put the address.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. I forgot I was emailing it.
God, now I have to open up another tab and open my email.
I've got 615 words.
You can send it on Discord if you like, Natasha.
No, it'd be much easier. It'd be my email.
No, I'll do it on email.
Do that. Meow chunk. Martin. Ooh. Ooh, he used to put a posh font on this one.
Right, let's do
It's
this.
Bookman old style.
Old style. If anyone else wants to send their thingamabobbies, oh, just in case is still tapping away in the chat. I have to say that's some dedication if you're doing it all in the chat. Please do email it. I have to copy and paste all of this. Okay.
It is sent.
Done.
I need to dig mine out of wherever I've saved it now. Ugh.
The trouble is I can't actually copy and paste the comments. Martin, can you copy and paste Justin's comments? I cannot select them for some reason. Try to click on them and it just does that. Yeah,
I can. Is that the whole piece, Justin?
Are you done or are you done?
Ah, I found it.
Oh, is Bethany in the chat? I've just noticed.
Oh, it's always lovely to have Bethany here.
It is. Hello, Bethany.
Thank you very much. So is anyone else going to submit? I haven't got Natasha's yet.
Yeah, I'm sending it now.
And these are being read in order of reception. Well done. I'm using the styles panel because I hate myself.
God damn it! Why will it not send?
Send it on Discord if you're having trouble with emails.
All right, give me a second.
Yes, dear.
My email doesn't like your email for some reason.
Well, nobody likes my email.
It's a very discerning email, obviously.
I am shocked and appalled. By this.
It's no less than you'd expect, Richard. Come on.
No, not being funny. I'm totally used to this by now.
There you go.
Well done. Here's the thing. Ooh. Right. So, who would like to go first in terms of the reading?
It's going to be me, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Just put you in. Martin. And, you can tell I'm doing a good job with this producing line.
And so modest about it too.
Oh, I need to turn that banner off. Right, Martin, take it away, me old chap.
He pulled the Windsor knot tight and pulled the tie around his neck. This was his first time at the dispatch box as head of his party. What had happened to the last chap had been unfortunate, but he was impressed with how quickly they had managed to get things together, and with a bit of quick thinking on his part, had won him the leadership. Booth was the youngest minister to lead a party since Pitt the Younger in 17 whatever it was, and here he was walking the corridors of power to his first Prime Minister's questions. He entered the Commons chamber to the usual noise and jeering you always had. He would be lying if he said there wasn't at least some stage fright. This must have been so much easier before the days of 24-hour rolling news and the whole thing going out live as it happened. It also must have been easier before her. Ellie Bly was still in her first term as Prime Minister. She was younger than Blair had been, and Booth had to admit, quite easy on the eye, at least by politician standards. She was also about to wipe the floor with him. It was a very nice floor and in dire need of restoration, much like the rest of the Palace of Westminster, but despite calls to relocate Parliament to the north and allow such work to be carried out, no one wanted to be the PM who wasn't in this place. No one didn't want to get to be a proper one. The leader of the opposition, the Speaker of the House cried out, summoning Booth. He was up. Prime Minister, I would ask. Liar! Someone called out from the back benches. Order, the Speaker replied. I would like to ask the Prime Minister what she intends to do about her party's foreign policy disaster that we can currently see playing out. Those are clearly the long-term effects of the opposition's last time in government, Bly shot back from the government dispatch box. Damn it, she had him there. Come on, Ellie, love, I thought you were going to go easy on me first go. Why had he assumed that? How did he not know? What about the ongoing fuel crisis? Clearly the result of the Prime Minister's latest misadventures, Booth shot back. The cheers rang out from his own benches and joined by some from the government's benches. He was onto a winner here. Cool, this really felt good. Feeling good whilst people cheered at him on television was the reason he'd gotten into politics in the first place. The Right Honourable Gentleman raises some important points, and I would invite him to my personal study after this session to discuss them, the Prime Minister replied. It was concise and to the point, and for a moment Booth swore that she had bitten her lower lip seductively at him. This never happened to Benjamin Disraeli. The PM kept a small office in the Commons just off the chamber. Booth knocked on the door and a civil servant let him in before discreetly leaving. Ah, Booth, good, said Prime Minister Ellie, now in a black cocktail dress and no longer the formal trouser suit she had worn in the chamber. You must forgive me, I have a reception at the American Embassy. Anyway, we must really solve this deep-rooted problem in British politics. Which problem will that be, Prime Minister? Your ass. Was this really happening? There had been those jokes about Thatcher and Michael Foot, but had a Prime Minister and a leader of opposition ever? This was going to lead some awkward questions for the next PMQs.
Very good.
Romantic comedy.
You should have got comedy there as well.
Oh,
Okay,
dear
Richard.
me, that was funny. That was fun. I was wondering where the sauce was going to kick in, but then it did. Well, you know what they say, Martin? They do say power is the ultimate aphrodisiac.
Well, yes.
There you go.
Mm.
Natasha, what did you
Thank
think?
you. You're all far too kind.
Oh, that was really good. I enjoyed that.
Mhm.
Nice, short and sweet, and got the genre out there really easily. Yeah, it was good.
He has a knack for this, does Martin?
Yeah, I can see.
The writing, that is, not the romance.
I don't know. I have very few complaints.
Yeah, I think he did a good job there, I will say. I think he's onto something there. He might even be competing with you in your Mills and Boone novel soon.
Oi, wife! Tell the internet I'm good at romancing.
A stunned silence from Mrs. Martin. Oh dear, that's funny. Should we do the next one then?
Why not?
Yeah, go on
And
then.
it looks like I'm up next, so dear.
We'll
How
tolerate
are
it.
you even slower at emailing yourself?
I just want to apologise for some of the all caps in this because I did have to do a find and replace because they were just name 1 and name 2 to begin with.
You can't think of names first time? What are you?
Oh,
Honestly.
well, I'd have
Wait
had-
till
Well, it would have been Colin, Martin, and Natasha then, wouldn't it? I was saying that there is a Colin and a Martin in a draft that I've got somewhere. Colin's the protagonist, the plucky hero of the piece, and Martin is the aloof villain.
Actually, yeah,
Anyway.
we could do the radio show on that one. Yes, crazy.
Let me read this. How many do you think there are out there? He asked Frank from the cool lit edge of the stage. Frank took a drag on the cigarette, blowing the indigo smoke into the warm, stale air of the backstage area. Sold out, all there for you. Can't do it, he said. He glanced behind, seeing his name in great big painted letters festooned with lights, ready to pulse and glow. It's not the same, you don't understand. Stop, Frank said, slapping a hard hand on Buck's shoulder. Remember who you are to these people, an idol, a hero, a legend. Can you let them down now? His voice said in a rosy intonation. Buck smiled weakly, but it faltered. Frank's face fell too. His cadence was now icy. I've got a lot of dough on the line. Told you, I don't think I'm ready. You're lucky you're even here. 18 months, that's a century in this biz. You left us, you owe us. So don't be such a pansy. Who's name 1? Oh, it's Buck. Buck said, no, it's Frank. I don't know who's talking now. Taking a final drag on the cigarette and crushing it underfoot. He poked Buck squarely in the chest, right between the ivory white jacket and the crimson shirt. His signature look. It bulged on him. Used to be a friend, Buck said. Showtime, Buck, 5 minutes. Don't even know the words anymore. Why'd you do this? He said, running to the side of the stage. The rumble of the crowd on the other side of the curtain was loud now. It was almost time. Buck peeked through the side of the curtain. The auditorium beyond was dark, the light glistening off thousands of eyeballs. Packed to the rafters, right in front, left, right, up and down. You reckon she's here? She wouldn't have the guts, Frank said. Washed up trash like you. Buck furrowed his brow. Aren't you meant to be encouraging me? I tried, but I was wrong. Go on, disappoint him. He didn't have the stomach for this. Buck swallowed. Frank, I don't think you wanted this for a long time. You're finally realising that, Frank said, reaching into his jacket. He pulled out another cigarette, but it hung on his lips. What are you doing? Buck had run away from the stage over to the rack. He reached for the guitar. Frank, as a manager, you suck. I'd like to say you're fired. You can't. But, Buck continued, pulling the guitar strap over his head and feeling the weight of the axe fall on his shoulders. You won't get that satisfaction, not from me. This, he wagged his finger, is the last time. He ran for the curtains, ready or not. He leapt out of the curtains onto the stage. The spotlight pivoted, not ready, and the curtains parted in a belated flourish of fabric. Lifting a hand, Buck swished down towards the guitar fret, feeling the plectrum in his hand. The ceramic touched the coiled string, and it vibrated, and Buck leant into the stainless steel can mic on the stand in front of him. Nothing. He breathed, but his vocal cords didn't move. Then he swallowed as a pregnant silence filled the place. His eyes darted. They glistened a bit. Then he saw her. Glancing to the edge of the stage, Frank shook his head. Buck looked again, seeing her face. His cheeks filled. He rocked his head back, and he took a deep and powerful breath.
Mm-hmm.
The idea was it was set in like the sort of 50s, and he's like a sort of rock star who's kind of like trying to come back, but his manager's a bit of a twat. Then he realises his ex-girlfriend's there, and he finally gets the courage to actually sing again.
Yeah, I think you got something there.
Yeah.
I think I've got the bones of something there.
Yeah, it'd be good after you have 12 revisions like you like.
Sorry?
It would be good after your 12 revisions.
Yeah, it's never good on the first try. Natasha, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was good. Definitely on something there. Did
Yeah.
it stem from our ABBA conversation earlier about them coming back
I'm
with
not
their
quite
song?
sure. Yeah, I'm thinking. I was thinking of like sort of Elvis Presley, but not quite ABBA.
Somewhere along those lines.
A fictionalized version of that, but yeah, no, I think there's an idea in there to be worked on for a little piece.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Natasha, you've been nominated to read Justin's thing. He is nominated the female, of course, like he said in Minority Report. So, are you ready to read these out?
Yeah, go on then. All right then, we ready? Okay. She puts down her brush, dries her hands in the tea towel, and walks to the front door. In the door spy, she is met by a pair of deep-set eyes from a face with nubby skin stretched to breaking point over the edges of cheekbones and nose bridge. The jaw is sharp with a scar for a mouth. Alarmed at the sight, she reaches down for the lock but doesn't manage to fasten it. The door opens and a hand forces its way through the opening. Mary summons all her strength to prevent the intruder's entry, but the arm continues away. Skin in its movement, like tender wallpaper covering a black, sticky layer with pale yellow stains, dirty smelling of death and decay. You're muted, Richard.
You're muted, Richard.
Well, I wasn't saying anything inside. I'll just say it's very image heavy and I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah.
Very
I'd
descriptive.
like to see where that goes.
Yeah, I'd like to see the whole story.
It's a nice little snippet.
Yeah.
It's a good word snippet, isn't it?
Snippet, yeah.
On the list.
Well, unless your name's Hobbit, yeah.
Oh dear. So Martin, what do you think? Oh, the cat's there.
Oh my God, what is your cat's name?
Purd the cat.
I love cats.
It's a shame he can't. He's licking himself, basically. Good for him. The next one is the inimitable, indefatigable,
Word.
ill Colin Clark.
Yeah, sorry. It's I poured a glass of wine. I'll be okay in a bit.
Yeah, that'll do.
Are you going to scoot it up? Because there ain't a lot of it. And as I said, we'll see.
When you're ready, Colin.
When I'm ready, right. Crossing the street and heading for the closest pub, Rick knew he was still being followed. The girl was good, but not good enough. Twice now he caught a reflection in shop windows as she trailed him from the other side of the street. No choice but to cross and confront her. Why are you following me? He stood in the doorway of the Cock and Bull public house. The stale yeast smell wafting round him like cheap perfume as he stepped out in front of her. To her credit, the girl didn't miss a beat. I can't resist seedy men in raincoats, she said, her voice firm, eyes fixed on his. Get out of my way, buddy. You're one of Ganesh's girls, yeah? It was obvious. The hard look, practiced retort. She was in the old man's stable, no doubt. Before she could step round him, Rick grabbed her arm, pulling her into the doorway. We need to... The fist in his gut ended the sentence, and as he doubled over, a perfectly timed knee took him full in the mouth. The smell of damp and dust as he came to, fingers going to his mouth to count his teeth, eyes opening. Oh, no, it was moving a bit. Eyes opening, immediately squinting as the bright spotlight all but blinded him. Shielding his eyes with a hand, he looked down from the empty stage and out into the rubble-strewn auditorium. Excuse me, frog in the throat. He knew this place, knew too he was in trouble. The Gaiety, a usually deserted, rat-infested theatre where the firm brought people to die. Shit. Still, he wasn't tied up, and, as he climbed to his feet, he couldn't spot any new holes. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice boomed from the dark shadows of the stalls. Tonight's guest star is Rick O'Shea, ex-cop, ex-husband, and soon to be just ex. The sound of metal on metal warned Rick before the mystery announcer peppered the space he'd occupied a second before with bullets, moving fast, ignoring the... and that was it.
That was pretty atmospheric. I liked it.
It was good,
That was really good, Colin. And you got that sort of narrative voice absolutely there. It's sort of really gutsy, really sort of guttural, and it's just really gritty. And that's
yeah.
I would read pages and pages and pages of that. That is just really good. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I still, as a piece of flash fiction, it was fairly dire. But yeah, I think it's a good idea. So
yeah, you've got characters coming through in that, and you've got backstory. I'm just thinking that's really wonderful.
Thank you.
I tell you what, I really liked the line "ex-cop, ex-husband, and soon to be just ex."
Oh, that was just funny.
That was a good line.
Well, to a T.
Have you considered doing audiobooks, Colin?
Not my current throat, no. Yes, I have considered doing audiobooks, but they'd have to be very particular books for my voice to read them, if you see what I mean.
I think
Harry Potter, for instance.
I think you got a good narrator's quality.
I think it fits the text just right. It's perfect.
I mean, like I don't know if Dickie here would necessarily make for a good audiobook narrator, but he does have a face for audiobooks.
Yeah, I always got told I had a face for radio. Yeah.
So,
well, at least you have a face for something.
We have some comments.
That's very true.
First picture is better than the horror. They're both good. Yeah, you talk yourself down. Soon XX. Oh, I think he's suggesting an edit there, Colin. Soon XX.
No, just the one X works.
Yeah. I thought it was a really good one. Yeah, I'm just amazed you came up with that in the short space of time. That was really good. So well done. I think that's definitely one that you should put on your maybe pile. The trouble is you get so many maybe ideas, you just don't know what to do you? Shall we move on to the last piece of the evening?
I think we should.
I think we should. We've let the lady wait long enough.
Yeah, kept me waiting. Jeez. Honestly.
Call myself a gent.
Yeah, God, Jesus. All right.
Right, we'll all go on you.
Right. Sam sat quietly at the back of the class, poring over the book in his lap. He should have been concentrating on what Miss Stephanie was saying, what she was writing on the board. But, as always, he could only manage a minute before the noise, the talking, the clamour became too much for him, sent him scurrying back into the book. It was a small thing, worn from how many times he'd read it, but to him it was a treasure larger and brighter than even the pirate hoard Edward claimed was hidden away at the bottom of his garden. Every opening was a jewel, every centrepiece like a golden coin just waiting to be picked up. And the punchlines? Well, they were how Sam imagined that the famed silver lining, the one his father always talked about when pointing out the storms, would look. But what would they sound like? What would they match how they looked, bright and shining and pulling smiles along after their gilded ends? Or would their sound be hollow, fake as the vases on his mother's china's cupboard? Sam wanted to know. He always did. Somewhere, when he'd read around to the middle of the book, a feeling would creep up on him. It was like a warmth, like the first sip of hot chocolate after a long day playing in the snow. With each new line and punchline read after that, with each proverbial sip of the hot chocolate, the feeling would grow. Up it would bubble from the bottom of his lungs, slowly searing up his throat. Pages turned, the heat would build, fire spitting tiny embers, tiny words onto his tongue, words that he wanted to say, wanted to speak and hear. Sam? Sam! He jerked, the book closing with a snap in his hands as water doused the flames in his chest. Miss Stephanie was standing to one side of his desk, arms crossed, an expression. Sam didn't know what to call it, but he didn't like it. Didn't like it because he knew where it led. What was the last question I asked, Sam? Her voice was measured, the only thing to be heard in the classroom as all eyes were turned to him. No, they'd been turned to him for a while. fixed on him, but he hadn't felt them. He'd been too lost in the book to notice, but now that he'd been drawn out of it, now that he'd been yanked back into the real world, Sam hunched on himself, not meeting Miss Stephanie's gaze. Faint ringing seemed to start up in the silence left by his not answering. And that was as far as I got. You muted, Richard.
Oh, I wasn't saying anything insightful or what. I said it was really good. I like that it was going. I'm not sure it was funny though. It doesn't matter.
It was getting there. As you know, I take too long to get to points, but it was basically the kid had a book of jokes, and it was going to be that he had stage fright because I think it was, what was the idea he had? He had something like selective mutism, and it was slowly going to be that him wanting to read these jokes was the thing that got him over his stage fright. But I didn't get that far.
That's good. I think there were some real sort of beautiful lines in there, some beautiful sentences. So well done.
Yeah.
You're all better than me though. So well.
No, we're all good. We're all good in our own way.
It's not a contest. It's good to just throw these ideas up. So yeah, well done. How do we all think we get on with that?
I think I did pretty well, to be honest. I mean, I don't normally write short stories, and I don't write them at short notice. So doing this was quite difficult. I think I did well. Yeah.
It's a good exercise, though. It's worth
You got a fair amount of words there. Well, you all did. So. Amazes me.
The thing is, I've left with an idea I want to kind of work on a bit more. It's not geez, but I'm always a bit surprised, pleasantly, that you come with an idea I want to toy with a little bit more, give a fair crack. But yeah, no, I'm really pleased. Everyone's come up with some really good stuff.
No, it was good fun.
And kind of like immediacy of having to write it sort of right here and now. It's kind of getting the old embers going in the fire, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely helped me because I've been doing my editing for like a month now. I haven't actually properly written anything, so doing that was definitely good, and just to make sure I can still do it.
Yeah, you can. There's no doubt you can.
You can't actually put any new words down, but then it's good to kind of just do these little like stretches, if you will.
Yeah, like loosening up exercises and realizing that actually
Martin's still on mute, don't you?
Oh, Martin's muted.
Yes, Martin is indeed.
I deigned to speak when Richard was talking.
So rude to me. Natasha, what have you been editing?
My first novel, I'm in the first draft stage. I finally finished it a couple of months ago, left it to sit for a bit, and now I'm in the editing stage.
What's it called?
It's called Sunfall.
Is that the one that you sent me a draft of ages ago?
Yeah, ages. Back in the uni days, yeah.
Part of the thing is, I was reading that, I was marking it out, and the thing is, as much as I would love to do a fully marked up version of everyone's book, it just takes me so long to do. But
yeah, no, I understand.
I might not be fun. I might just start it from scratch and read it and just sort the story.
No, don't do that. Leave it until I've done my edit of it, and then I'll send you the edited piece because I guarantee you.
Yeah, I'd like to read and see how it's developed.
Yeah, comparing it to my old draft because I've separated two. I've done a copy of it and I'm editing that. Comparing it to the old one, I'm looking at it and it's like, why did I ever think the first one was good?
We all feel that, don't we? I'm working on the fourth draft of my post-apoc novel, The Thaw, which Martin has had the pleasure of reading.
Oh yeah, how's that going?
I'm about half done. What I'm noticing is with the sort of this last edit is I'm not making big sweeping changes, just kind of like making sure it's all lined up.
He's just writing in some trains, really.
Writing in some trends. Listen, I've been working on this book since university, since like 2016. It needs to come out now. It needs to
get it out there.
It needs to be sent to some agents. That's the plan for it. I know it's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Colin, what are you working on?
I'm still working on Chimers, which is the middle grade dark fantasy. So, and hopefully I'll finish that November, the first draft. I'm also working on the episodes for Ghosts in Detroit.
Oh yeah, I sent you some feedback on that. That was really good.
But that came from a piece of flash fiction. That
it's
original
amazing
idea.
how these pieces, like I did one for Barrett's critique group. I just kind of wrote it, and it's probably going to be a book now.
Another book. How many is that now, Richard?
I've got so many book ideas up here. So I just need to write it. Now I want to write a series next year to self-publish. I've just kind of think, What am I doing next? Because I am terrible at multitasking.
This is why I stick to having just one main piece to do, and the rest of it is just fan fiction, because I could not cope with doing like 5 different novels at a time. No,
I couldn't do it all the time. What I've basically done is I've got enough notes for each that I can kind of just park the ideas for the time being. But it's like there's not enough hours in the day. I want to take myself off to the woods in a cabin for about 3 months and just write. I can't be the only one who's got that kind of fantasy, just disappearing off the face of the earth to sort of crank
Well,
out.
I've done it basically. I've disappeared off the face of the earth. I'm in Newcastle in a flat, so I've been here for months.
You don't might as well be in the middle of the woods.
I go upstairs to see tricks every now and again, and then come back down here. So.
Disappeared off the face of the earth by 3 stories.
Yeah.
Well,
In
that's
Newcastle.
literally disappearing off the face of the earth.
Well, actually, the windows are so dirty at the moment because they're doing some work with all these fire doors, so you can barely see out the windows. So it is disappearing.
it is like you're in the wilderness then.
Yeah.
It's like a sort of cocoon that you're kind of like.
Insulated.
And the moor just out the back. That's quite nice. So.
A morgue.
Moor.
Oh, a
Oh, I
morgue.
wish it was a moor. Oh,
And I was
yeah.
like, okay then.
Cemetery or moor. I'd be well into that. Yeah, that'd be good.
I don't think I'd be able to sleep at night with that.
So,
Hearing a strange rattle coming from the morgue.
so I only have the one main project that I'm working on. I mean, Ghosts in Detroit is just episodes. So it's,
Yeah. No, as much as I would like to kind of work on 3 books at a time, I just want to give each book or main story the sort of attention it deserves.
Mm.
I call this, my sort of theory, I call this Project Monogamy. I'm very strict with it. I only read 1 book at a time for the exact same reason. I just got to concentrate and give it the attention it deserves.
I don't understand how people can read multiple books at a time.
I don't know how people can read multiple
Like,
books.
genuinely.
I can't flip between. I just find it very difficult.
well,
And also, I want to concentrate on the story. Sorry?
I said I'm beta reading for the artillery.
Oh, lovely. This is the thing. I would love to do more beta reading, but I just don't want to overcommit myself, if that makes sense.
And that's what I did. That's why I didn't manage to read Kent's.
I'd love to read Victoria Wren's third book, but I just can't commit to that at the moment. I don't think it's fair on her to. I don't want to be one of these beta readers who just sort of, I've had it before, haven't to me, where people just, take the book and you never hear from them again. Which, is part of the course, really.
Shall we finish up the stream and retire to a green room?
I think that's a really good idea.
I think that's
Because I've just received a notification that the lovely Ben is doing a stream at 11 to celebrate the release of his book 3 years ago.
Please be standing for the new end card.
I've got a message from Justin. You can add my first piece to my latest novel. The characters I formally celebrate. Ooh. I would be definitely interested in reading that, so definitely let us know.
Yeah, keep that going.
Yeah, how we can find out about that. That'd be really interesting. I think your little snippet was really good. You managed to, again, show me up massively, but I'm used to it by now. I think the thing is, it just takes me time to get to that sort of standard. But that's really good. That's really good. So I hope we've all had a fun time.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Yeah, we all had another fun evening on Flash. I think once we got the old gears going, we got off to a good rhythm, didn't we? Natasha, what did you think of your first ever live stream appearance?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, come do some more at some point. We always like to welcome people back.
Yeah, I'd be happy to join in with another one of these.
We try to do this about once a month-ish. Ish being the operative word there, which do it when we fancy it, basically. But it's always good fun. And yeah, has anyone got any final words? I'll put you all on the screen. Ladies first.
Well, I just want to say that was a lot of fun, and thank you for joining us.
Colin, say your goodbyes.
Yeah, bye. See you later.
Oh, Colin, you goose. Do you have anything to say?
Thank you for joining us again. Flash Fiction, it changes lives.
It's a mystery novel. Keep in touch with us. Thanks for joining. And I'm just going to fill time until I can find the end card. Thank you.
God, you should have it ready.